With the impending news of injuries to the DB room for the Cardinals, one thing remains clear and certain as it always has been. The offense has to lead, man. Let's discuss.
You are Locked On Cardinals, your daily Arizona Cardinals podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Cardinals, Alex Clancy here. You know the drill, man. Every day. Every day as you've been around for a long time. Thank you. This is your first listen to Locked On Cardinals. Thank you. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every damn day. It's the offense today. It's the defense tomorrow. I'm going to give this disclaimer now. I am recording this show as late as I possibly can, just in case there was some information that came out about the 3 injured cornerbacks. Nothing has happened yet, so I decided to backload the defensive side, assuming something would come out today. I have no idea what takes the Cardinals so long to do things when it seems like the rest of the NFL does things immediately when it comes to injuries. I don't understand it. It's pretty frustrating, actually. I don't get it. I know there's second opinions, and I know you got to talk to... Dude, you got to give us something. You got to give us something. It's your fiduciary responsibility to give us something, but nothing yet. I'm sure that something will drop in the middle of this show, but that's neither here nor there. I'll be focusing on the defense tomorrow, what it looks like moving forward with the pivot in tow. What the Cardinals defense will have to do. I will discuss that tomorrow. Today, it's all about the offense. The mysterious nature of this offense. Now, regardless of what we've seen through the first 2 weeks, the Cardinals offense isn't broken yet. I'll discuss that in the final segment. The mystery of Marvin Harrison Jr. We're going to do a full segment on that. Secondly, but first, the offense has to lead. Today's episode of Locked On Cardinals is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. The offense needs to lead. Okay? This isn't a situation, even though the entirety of the offseason, the money, the draft was spent on the defense, that the offense could just be like, oh no, a couple defensive players got hurt. Now the season's lost. Ho-hum. Back to the drawing board, boys. No. That's not happening. And the reason why it's not happening is because they've got Kyler Murray, they've got Trey McBride, they've got Marvin Harrison Jr., they've got James Conner, they've got Trey Benson, they've got an above-average offensive line, even though it didn't look like it at times this past week. There's no, I don't know why the excuses continue with the offense. And I've championed the thought process of, listen, this is the year. Not this is the year where everything's going to come together. Not this is the year where the Cardinals are going to go to the Super. Nothing like that. But this is the year where everything's aligned for things to work, irrespective of injury. And that's Kyler Murray injury notwithstanding, Trey McBride, things like that. But just because a couple defensive players got hurt doesn't mean this team craters. Doesn't mean this locomotive stops. And it's bewildering to me that thought process is even really starting to float. So yes, terrible to lose your top 3 corners. Unthinkable. It's in what scenario would that ever actually happen? And not just those 3. Sean Murphy-Bunting and Starling Thomas were already gone for the year. That's 5. They're 5 top corners. May miss extended periods of time. Obviously, 2 will because, they're out for the year already. But we'll see what happens with Garrett Williams, Max Melton, and Will Johnson. But that doesn't mean this offense has changed. That doesn't mean this offense doesn't need to level up. They needed to level up even when the defense was at full strength. So now you take your best player and you level the hell up. This is Drew Petzing. This is Kyler Murray. This is Marvin Harrison Jr. This is the offensive line. This is everybody. The offensive line is one of the better pass blocking units in the NFL and one of the worst run blocking units in the NFL. I don't know if it's Justin Fry. I don't know what the hell it is. What I do know is through 2 weeks, this offense has shown enough to make you believe that they can do it for sustained periods of time. Unfortunately, the entirety of the history of Kyler Murray and this offense tells you otherwise. So this isn't I've shifted over the last couple weeks in a couple respects. One, there's no excuses to not go win games. I don't care who gets injured. Two, I think this is starting to become more of a Marv problem than an anything else problem. And I'll talk about that in the next segment. But collectively, we've seen flashes during large chunks of the first two games where the offense looked as good as we thought they were going to, and it doesn't matter if it was Marv or Michael Wilson catching touchdowns. That middle part of the Carolina game where they went field goal, forced a punt, went and scored inside a minute, then came down and scored another touchdown on the opening drive of the second half. That's the Cardinals offense you expect to beat up against a bad Carolina defense. And the rest, I'm not taking a lot of weight in that. The only thing I'm taking a lot of weight in, which I've been very vocal on, is you've had two opportunities to end the game in victory formation, and you didn't get close. All of the craziness, all of the calamity that ensued during the tail end of the game last week could have been avoided if the Arizona Cardinals, with 5 minutes left, went and got 2 first downs or 3 first downs and ran the clock out. Couldn't even come close to doing it. And they were up 12, I think, at that point. So it was still kind of like a, let's just hope the clock runs out before anything crazy happens. Well, that didn't happen, but they ended up coming out with a win. I think the biggest takeaway for the offense was those 3 possessions back to back to back, which unfortunately was leveraged. The first 2 were leveraged on the fact that the defense was playing really, really well against a bad offense. And the Cardinals were able to get that extra possession when they were short. It was a 4th and, an inch, it seemed like. Or it was an incomplete pass. Never mind. It was an incomplete pass. And they ended up punting, and the Cardinals came down and scored. Like, that's where it's like, oh, been waiting for this. And then the offense was anemic in the second half after that first drive. They were up a bunch. It was a run the clock out situation. Whether you want to agree with it or not, I'm not saying I agree one way or the other. That's what we witnessed. And then it was just a blender of terrible things in the fourth quarter. All of that doesn't matter. The offense, if the Cardinals, and this was the case regardless, again, of injury, if the Cardinals want to do anything this year, the offense has to be better. And if the offense isn't better, why is the offense the way the offense is? And that's not rhetorical. That's not already with an answer. That's just the question that we're going to be asking if the Cardinals only win 7 games this year or something like that. Because, again, if the Cardinals only win 7 games, you're looking at a new coordinator. Depending on how Kyler Murray plays, you're looking at a new quarterback. Kyler Murray's played pretty well during the first couple weeks. And they've had big leads in both games. Obviously, a bigger lead, 27-3 in the most recent one than in week 1, which was pretty much a preseason game. This is still very much TBD on all the stuff, and that's okay. That's okay. Like, that's not like they don't know where their true north is. That's not this. It's been 2 weird game scripts the first 2 weeks, not an excuse, it's a reason. And we're going to find out, like, the real barometer check is this week in San Francisco. The real barometer check is this week in San Francisco, because if the Cardinals lose in San Francisco and they got Seattle coming to State Farm Stadium on Thursday Night Football on a short week, we could be having very, very different conversations about this team, and not good ones this time. But regardless of what happens with the defense, with Garrett Williams and Max Melton and Will Johnson, obviously terrible things. You wish them full recovery as human beings and taking away football altogether. But regardless of what happens there, the offense needs to level the hell up. There's no excuses. Just go do it. You've got more talent on that side of the ball than so many other teams. Use it effectively. One of the main cogs was pretty much put on a milk carton in week 2. Marvin Harrison Jr. Is it time to panic? No. Is it time to monitor and maybe not blame Drew Petzing and Kyler Murray? No, but maybe, but it's worth a discussion. That's analysis. Next, Locked On Cardinals, your team every day. This episode of Locked On Cardinals is brought to you by our dear friends over at Mazda. Mazda crafts cars for those who do more than simply move. From footwork to breathwork, athletes sweat all the details, and Mazda brings this same intention to how we craft every model. You can make everyday drives feel like anything but, from smooth handling to intuitive controls. And with all-wheel drive standard in every crossover SUV, you can drive with confidence through almost any season. Like our players, we sweat every detail, because when you make every move count, impossible becomes irrelevant. Mazda. Move and be moved. Today's episode of Locked On Cardinals is also brought to you by Monarch Money. Most people can't name all their financial accounts or even what they're worth, whether it's 401ks, properties, investments, whatever it is. And when you don't have the full picture, you can end up leaving money on the table. And that's why there's Monarch Money, man. That's why they exist. It's an all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean, easy-to-use interface on your laptop or on your phone. Monarch does the heavy lifting for you. You can link all your accounts in minutes, see clear data visuals, get smart categorizations of your spending, and finally feel in control of your money without ever touching a spreadsheet. Makes it a lot easier, doesn't it? Don't let financial opportunities slip through the cracks. Use code LOCKEDONNFL at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with code LOCKEDONNFL. Okay, so it's time to talk about Marv. Please go to the YouTube channel, search Locked On Arizona Cardinals. Hit that subscribe button, man. You know what we're doing here. If you want to go leave a review, reviews are left. Some not so happy people leave reviews. I'm sorry that you don't agree with what I say. I try to speak honestly and openly and give honest opinions about things. That's fine. We're good. You know, I'm just happy that you're here every day. If you've been here for the entirety of this time, 9 seasons, or into the 9th season, 15 years in sports media, this is your first listen to Locked On Cardinals. Thank you. Maybe make tomorrow your second listen, where I talk about the defense, what the hell they need to do. This Marv conversation is not premature and not late either. There's so many different sides to kind of number crunch with. First off, this past week, yikes. Wide open, ran a great route, got separation. Kyler Murray put it on an absolute dime. The ball went right through his hands. 50-50 fade route, crumbled. That should have been a touchdown in the back left of the end zone. Kyler Murray put it on him. That's a touchdown. I struggle because it's easy to say Drew Petzing needs to do a better job of getting him open. Okay, that's fair. I mean, I'm not going to eat your lunch for that. It could be said that Kyler Murray needs to throw him open more. I don't agree with that as much, but that's fine. We can have a conversation about that, a rational one, and you might be able to sway me that way. And we could also have a conversation that Marv needs to get open. I think it's a collection of all three. I think it's a perfect storm of yuck so far. And although he had okay numbers last year, what do I say? It was the worst version of a good season a rookie could have. I mean, he had a bunch of touchdowns, 900 receiving yards. Like, it wasn't an inept rookie season. But if they're going to throw the ball more, because, I mean, the offensive line can't run block, it seems, this year. Missing Clayton Adams, potentially. Marv needs to be a focal point. So it's a mystery because we don't really know why it's happening. And that is something that gives me PTSD for years and years and years in this space. When you don't, I haven't said this in a long time. The only thing worse than having a problem is not knowing why there's a problem. Not knowing the root of that problem. And that's where we are with Marvin Harrison Jr. So, you know, he's got 9 touchdowns. I tweeted out, which pissed off some people. I don't know why. Marvin Harrison Jr. as an Arizona Cardinal is 10-9. Malik Neighbors is 3-16. I didn't send it for any specific reason. I just sent it to send it. People don't like that. Um, this is one thing that I absolutely do know. Just in the landscape of wide receiver ones. And I'm not throwing him in the wide receiver one category like the elite of the elite. I'm not. I'm saying that a team's wide receiver one, even though Trey McBride's the number one option, a team's wide receiver one gets open, gets targets. A team's wide receiver one, and this is the excuse, well, they're bracketing coverage and they're sending the CB1 on him. It's like, oh no, this is the first time a wide receiver one has ever been defended by the best corner on the other team. What should they do? Let's pack it in, boys. Let's just pull Marv off the field. No, wide receiver ones win battles against cornerback ones all the time. And wide receiver ones get all the targets all the time. Their target share is wildly weighted in their favor because they're the best wide receiver. None of that's happening with Marv. So that's a collection of the three. I'm sure that Drew Petzing is going to be the head that rolls. And also, he very well could be calling the right plays and Marv just may not be getting open. Did we think about that yet? And this isn't a knock on a young man who's 1 year and 2 games into the league. This is just a conversation where I say this from time to time. Like, they're not even in the foyer about ready to go into the auditorium to have the real conversation. We're not even close to that. It's just something to monitor. That's all. We've seen special from Marv, just like we've seen special from this offense. If Trey McBride is always open, why isn't Marvin Harrison Jr. always open? If you tell me that Marv is more valued than Trey McBride across the league, I would say hooey fish. Malarkey. You're a nincompoop if you think that. But Trey McBride always gets open. So there's a disconnect. And yeah, it took Trey a year. But dude, this can't just be Kyler Murray and Drew Petzing bashing. They've got to figure it out. Now, what's the solution? This is something that I've kind of cooked up. I don't know. One of the analogies I use is I use this with Trey Benson in the offseason. They've done a good job of this so far. Sometimes dudes just need to get the juices flowing early. Throw a couple bubble screens to him. Quick slants, 5-yard turnarounds. So he can get a catch, he can get tackled, and he can get back up, and he's ready to rip. Like, not everybody can be an afterthought for like 20 minutes of real time once the game started, and then just spring into action. Now, that sounds like an excuse, and it kind of is a little bit, but try. The fact that he only had the amount of targets that he had, even though they were on the field for 26 minutes, they ran 65% of the plays that Carolina did because they were up so much. Michael Wilson gets open. Well, he's against the third corner. Dude, here's the thing. This is going to have to get pried from my cold, dead hands before saying Marvin Harrison Jr. isn't it. We can't be clear. That's just irresponsible to think that way so far. It's a run first offense. Trey McBride's the best pass catcher they have. Okay. So those things are quote unquote going against Marvin Harrison Jr. But if the run game continues to suffer, they're going to be throwing the ball more, obviously, #analysis. And Marv has to be present. He has to get open. He has to catch balls that come his way. And he has to show that 10 plus pounds of muscle he put on this offseason wasn't just to look better in tank tops. All of those things need to level up. And if you ask me how the Arizona Cardinals offense could level up instantly, Marvin Harrison Jr. producing. And I think that's pretty safe. Because that's the missing piece from this offense. That's the missing piece. And if they can figure it out, this offense can be just fine and can level up and can take over as the strength of this team like it should have been a long time ago. Locked On Cardinals, your team every day. Now, with all that said, the offense isn't broken yet. It's a fluid situation. We'll discuss that as we roll on here. Locked on Cardinals, your team. This episode of Locked on Cardinals is brought to you by our friends at, FanDuel. The NFL season's here. FanDuel's making sure you're ready to kick off with a can't-miss offer. Listen to this. Get some Q-tips. I guess you're not supposed to use Q-tips to get the earwax out. Listen. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Let me say that again. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you get $300 in bonus bets across the app. You want to bet long shot for the Cardinals to win the division? You can do it. Want to bet Kyler Murray to score multiple touchdowns next week? You can do it. Jonathan Gannon, Coach of the Year, you can do it, all at FanDuel. So you ready to play? Download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com to place your first $5 bet. Please go to the YouTube channel, search Locked on Arizona Cardinals. Hit that subscribe button, man. We got the Cardinal Squad Show tomorrow at 6 o'clock Arizona time. And then football game Sunday, me 15 minutes, Cardinal Squad Show an hour. Numbers are continuing to skyrocket up. Thank you to everybody who's watching. Who's enjoying the new format. We have a lot of fun over there. The Cardinals offense isn't broken yet. Okay. They've won 2 games. They've shown promise, even though the run game hasn't been great. So I think that's the redeeming quality is you got a new offensive line coach. I don't know what the offensive line is going to look like when Will Hernandez is healthy. Isaiah Adams has been graded very poorly. Let's hope that he can put it together. It's difficult because Jonah Williams isn't playing very well either. So that's one of the things that we've experienced a lot with this team over the years is maybe the guard isn't as bad as the numbers would indicate. It's just the tackle is underproducing and vice versa. I just hope that they can figure that out. They've got a very low grade in run blocking. The redeeming quality is that if they figure out the run game, like that's been the bread and butter, and the passing game kind of stays the same, they're going to be fine. The thing is, though, the yet part, the troubling part is maybe opposing teams have seen that the Cardinals have been a very, very solid run team, and they're just stacking the box and forcing them to throw the ball. If that's the case, the Cardinals should welcome that with the amount of skilled position players they've got. And I'm grouping in, Michael Wilson. I'm grouping in Greg Dortch. I'm grouping in Elijah Higgins, who had a couple catches, who looked good. They've got plenty of options on the outside. And then you couple in Trey Benson and James Conner, it's like they've got weapons. So if they have to vacate the run for portions of games, good. Put the ball in the quarterback's hands. Kyler Murray's the best player on the team. He's the most electric player on the team. Put the ball in his hands and go. Now, this is on Drew Petzing. If the run game isn't working, vacate it. Look at the Bills. Aside from the last 2 years and Josh Allen running the ball, they would throw the ball every down. Just like these problems that the Cardinals are having are not original stories. Oh, players get injured. Oh, well, that's never happened in the history of the NFL. Oh, the run game doesn't work. Oh, well, there are usually 10, 12 really bad running teams all year that just have to throw the ball because they have no run game. The reason why I say the Arizona Cardinals offense isn't broken yet is because they have so much talent with their skill position players that they need to figure out what percentage you want to throw the ball and figure out how to bounce around a run game that has been anemic thus far, outside of a Trey Benson, 50-yard run down the sideline in New Orleans. And Kyler Murray's 30-yard scamper where he almost got sacked and then did, what Kyler Murray does. He had an oh my God moment. What will break the Arizona Cardinals offense is doing the same thing over and over. and just hoping that the offensive line as is will get better, and just hoping that the run game will magically reappear, and just hoping that opposing defenses won't stack the box because they know the Cardinals are a run-first team. That's what will break the Cardinals. We've seen different looks. This offense looks a little bit different than it has last year. You cannot hold the second half of last game. Like, dude, they were up 24 points. Okay, the offense is obviously going to look different. Like, I'm not in the camp, just hammer it home, Steve Spurrier, put up a 50 burger. That's not real life. I know Detroit does it. That's great. That's awesome. Most teams don't. So I'm not eating anybody's lunch for that. What will allow this team to level up is to be able to adapt to what opposing defenses look, what the opposing defense, what the looks are, and being able to utilize the large quantity of skill position players in the running back room, the wide receiver room, and the tight end room. What will break this team and break this offense is not adapting at all. We're going to find out very, very quickly what this offense looks like when they're down a couple very, very important defensive players. They're either going to level up or we're going to be having really weird conversations after week 4. Locked On Cardinals, your team every day. Remember, without you, there is no me. I'll talk to you tomorrow. And again, if anything drops with Garrett Williams, Max Melton, and Will Johnson, we'll talk about it tomorrow. It's all defense tomorrow. Buckle up, Buttercup. Nope, never saying that again. Talk to you tomorrow.